everybody, and hope you're having a great week. And thank you for watching again. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe or give it a thumbs up. And any questions or comments, definitely let me know. And okay, I'm still trying not to laugh here because I just had a really funny conversation. So, one of my friends who subscribes to the channel, she had asked, I was talking and it was like, what are some good questions or some good ideas I could put up here? So, and I started a list too, so I could put together a lot of good questions. So if you guys have any ideas or you want to talk to, have any questions in general about, how things work, or to anyone specifically, like in the afterlife, people from Earth, or even like angels or anything like that, that'd be great. I'd love to do a video on that. And that's kind of why I'm doing this video. So she had asked, I was wondering about the Prior of Sion, and I was like, oh, okay. I actually remember that from the movie. It's a really good movie too, and I actually read the book too, Da Vinci Code. So she asked me she was like, maybe ask Da Vinci, about the Prior of Sion, and I just realized I totally forgot, so I'm sorry. I ended up asking Jesus instead, so sorry about that. I just realized that. She said maybe you could talk to Da Vinci and ask him if that was a real thing, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, because I always wanted to know, also, did Jesus have any kids while he was down here? So what that is, the Prior of Sion, if I'm not mistaken, so I did a little bit of extra research too. And I'm not actually sure how Da Vinci ties into it, like if he was allegedly a part of it or not. But what it is it's I'll have to do more research. Sorry about that. So it is an organization that was to keep the secret of the bloodline of Jesus Christ completely protected in secret. So it was proven later on to be like an elaborate hoax or that sort of thing, but there is some truth to it. So this is interesting. And it's a great question. I've always wondered about this. So, well, I'll let you know why I'm laughing too in a minute, but I was laughing so hard for the longest time. Anyway, so I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I'll just ask Jesus himself. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the question. I'm sorry that it went to Jesus instead of Da Vinci. So my friend, so her question was that, and I was like, okay, I'll ask. So Jesus, if you want to speak with him, he's available 24/7, and can speak to anybody at any time, multiple people, even in multiple languages. It's really cool. So remember, infinity means without limits. So, and that's literally what the afterlife is. So once you're over there, you have all these abilities that we don't have down here. So really, but he willingly makes himself available for conversation anytime. So all I had to do was say, hey, and listen for a response. So, I talked to him, and well, actually, that'll come up in a minute too. So, but here's how the conversation went. I was like, hey, Jesus, and he was like, well, hey. It's like, hey, Jerry, we've talked a lot before, actually. So, plus they just know who they're talking to. I was like, hey, man, my friend down here thinks you're kind of hot. She didn't say that, but that's what I told him. And then we laughed for I did for 20 minutes straight, and I couldn't compose myself. But I finally was able to ask him the question. Sorry, I was just totally joking around. But it was like, hey, man, and I totally showed him your picture, by the way, and your name and everything, and was like, she totally thinks you're hot, bro. Oh my God, I laughed so hard. and so did he. Oh, and I forgot too, and I said, and she wants to know if you're single. So um, he said, okay, he said he was laughing so hard too. And he goes, well, that's great. He said, tell her I'm sorry, but I'm actually taken for the moment. And I was like, oh, and he said, thank you too. He said, tell her thank you, but I'm sorry, I'm actually taken for the moment. And I was like, oh my God. Oh, I laughed so hard. So, anyways, that's how our conversation began. But then I was like, okay, I've got a serious question for you too. So I asked him about the Priory of Sion. First of all, I asked him, did you have any kids when you were down here? And it sounds like he did. So um, two to be exact. So, and it was with Mary of Magdalene, who I spoke with as well. They were both laughing, actually. Okay. I'm trying hard not to laugh again. Okay, okay, so they had two kids together. So he had two kids, and two kids alone, one boy and one girl. So, and that's what I heard, and that's what I heard him confirm. And I was like, well, no kidding. So, because when you do the research online, I've kind of read about it before, but not too much is known about Mary, and no one knows if Jesus had any kids or not. But he did have so he did have two children, one boy and one girl. Both were with Mary, and believe it or not, they're still together to this day after all this time. So, which is pretty amazing. So I asked him to. I actually did ask him. I asked, well, that's cool. Like, that's great that you're still together, and congratulations. Are you like a Mormon? Do you have more than one wife? And he said, yes. He said the one and one alone. So I was like, oh, okay. So I don't know. I don't know if he's a polygamist. I don't know. It's been 2,000 years, so I was just curious. So I asked him, and yeah, her and her alone. So they were down here together as well, and also in the afterlife this whole time. I don't know how many kids they have now. I haven't asked yet. Maybe probably a lot. It's been like 2,000 years, but and they had one son and one daughter while they were down here. Now, the Priory of Sion, the idea, there's a little bit of truth in that, because he did mention, that the kids were protected and were also lied to, about who they were to protect their identity and that sort of thing. But it wasn't as elaborate as people think it is, like this massive organization, that's carrying on to this day to protect the bloodline. Actually, that kind of separated at a certain time. So it was decided not to, just keep this going, but to break it off, basically, and certain people who knew the truth would just kind of lie to the kids in the next generation about who they were and where they came from. And that was it. No records were kept. Nothing was intended to continue to move forward, but to make like a break, with the truth so that it would be kept secret forever. So really the only way to find that sort of thing out, I don't know if the bloodline is still around today on Earth. I'll have to find out. So there's a few questions I didn't get to, but there was an attempt to, by people to hide their identity, but nothing quite like was in the book or anything like that, and it didn't last over time. So there is some truth to that idea, like the concept of the Priory of Sion, like people who just protected the truth to a certain point. So I thought that was an amazing conversation, and I wanted to share it. Sorry, ladies, Jesus is taken. He is with Mary still this whole time, and there you have it. So thank you so much for the question. I thought it was a great question, and again, if anybody has any questions like this, I'd love to be able to ask them for you and find out. I think it's really cool stuff. So again, appreciate you watching and hope you enjoyed the video. So please take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.